Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the JJ's Declutter podcast. We have a magazine moments episode for you. Janis, tell them what we're going to talk about.
We're going to talk about brooms. And you may wonder, why a broom? Well, we've been on a cleaning mission lately, and we wanted to talk about the broom because the broom is one of the oldest human inventions. When you think about it, I mean, Julie and I were talking about this. It's like, okay, what is the actual oldest human invention? And I said the wheel.
And I said fire.
Julie said fire. And so that's going way back to like caveman times, right? Way back when.
So it really wasn't fire, but fire starters.
Yeah.
That they invented.
Or saving it or using it as a tool.
Right.
But the broom, they actually have artifacts and things like that drawings or something of people using things that are brooms. So we have two articles we're going to talk about. The first one is from enchantedlivingmagazine.com, and it is called Brooms and Besoms, History and Lore, and it's by Charlotte Baker.
And it's fascinating.
It actually is fascinating. So the earliest brooms, they say, were likely like leafy branches or bundles of twigs that you held in your hand, which makes sense because you're increasing the surface area and you're pulling it along the surface and getting rid of dust and dirt, right? Rather than just wiping it with their hand or with a cloth, because I think cloth was really expensive back then. Right? So if you could use something that was natural and replaceable, then it actually makes more sense to do that, like use twigs or husks or grasses or feathers, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that eventually someone thought to add a handle to their sweeping bundle. And so the broom as we know it began to take shape.
Right. So by the Middle Ages, the most common form of broom in use in Western Europe was the twig besom. And despite being introduced to Italy from Syria in the 15th century, the broomcorn would not become a common broom material until the early 19th century in America. In the modern broom making community, besom typically refers to a broom with a long handle and a round brush, sewn or unsewn, and made with any of several materials. So they use twigs, broom corn, broom sedge, while the general term broom is the default for one that's been clamped and sewn flat for the purpose of efficient sweeping.
Mm-hmm. And we all think the reason we kind of also want to talk about brooms is because this month is Halloween's month, and they've been associated with witches for centuries.
They certainly have.
Yeah, so that's another reason why we wanted to talk about it. And the first person known to confess to flying on a besom was a man, and he was a priest. So he was arrested and charged with witchcraft. So, it stays the same. The story all stays the same. People want to persecute people that they don't understand and all this other stuff. But anyways, let's talk about actual brooms and superstitions that are associated with brooms. Because I think this is kind of funny too.
Though it's a lowly household implement, the broom took on such glamour that it became the object of a myriad of superstitions, many of which are alive and well today. So here are a few. It is considered unlucky to sweep dust out of a door after nightfall.
That's interesting. I've never heard that one. But I have heard of never sweep on New Year's Day, or you'll sweep away all your luck for the coming year. I have heard that one. It gives you an excuse to be kind of lazy on New Year's Day after partying all night on New Year's Eve.
And this one's interesting. So if a visitor is overstaying his welcome, stand a broom up behind the door of the room in which he's, in, and he's soon going to grow uncomfortable and leave. I think I'm going to try that.
Oh, and this also has to do to prevent the return of an undesirable overnight guest. Sweep the room he or she slept in as soon as possible after their departure. I haven't tried that one. Well, I don't know, maybe because you go in there and you neaten it up usually.
Mhm. Yeah. So, if you stand a broom beside the front door, it bars the entrance of negativity.
I don't believe that one.
I know.
Because I leave
Sorry.
my
Had
broom
one on
by
my
the front
porch
door
for.
quite often, just because it gets love there.
Oh my
And
gosh.
well, okay, now this one, if one sweeps under the feet of an unmarried person, he or she will never marry. I don't think that's true.
But if an unmarried woman steps over a broom that's lying on the floor, she will become a mother before she becomes a wife.
So that tells you that you should pick up all your brooms if they hit the floor, so none of your kids will step over them. Oh, this one's kind of funny. If someone sweeps over your feet, you are in danger of going to jail unless you immediately spit on the brush of the broom.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh my gosh. So if you want to bring rain within 3 days, you're going to dip a broom in a bucket of water into which has dried fern has been crumbled. And then you're going to hold your broom aloft, shaking the water out to simulate rainfall. And that's going to start. It's going to get you rain in 3 days.
So that's the history and the lore of brooms. So now we're going to go to types of brooms and their best uses. It's from Better Homes and Gardens, and it's a little bit more scientific, I think, than what we were just talking about.
So whether you're sweeping up crumbs, cobwebs, or chaos, having the right broom really does make all the difference. It's basically you need the right tool to get the right job done. So here are some of our most common broom types and the ideal surfaces that they work for. Want to
Yeah.
start, Janice?
Yeah, sure. So number one is the angled broom, or they used to be called the corner broom. And this is the one that they sell like at Costco for, I don't know, $13 for two with one dustpan and all that stuff. Its best its best use is for corners, baseboards, and tight spaces. The angled bristle makes it perfect for getting into tight corners and under furniture, and it's great for indoor use, especially in kitchens and bathrooms.
Mhm.
And it's usually made out of a synthetic material, like I don't know what polyester, or I don't know what those
Right,
bristles are made out of.
right, right. Um, the second broom we have on our list is a push broom. So these guys, you all probably remember push brooms because when I was growing up, we always had the great big push broom
They're
that we
black
would use.
bristles. Yep.
Yeah, and we would use it for the garage and the patio and the driveway and all that kind of stuff. Um, it has the wide head and it's built to be big and push a bunch of stuff
Yep.
and all that dirt and debris. It does come with soft bristles if you want for dust, or stiff bristles for the
Yes.
heavy debris. um, so it's really good for sweeping sawdust and leaves and gravel and all that kind of thing off of larger areas.
Yes. Number three is a corn broom, or the traditional straw broom. And these were really popular probably up through, I want to say, up until 2000. I mean,
Hmm.
I remember still getting the corn brooms when I was in college. And then all of a sudden, all these synthetic ones started popping up. Um,
Right.
these are best for rough, uneven surfaces, indoor or outdoor. And they're made from a natural fiber like corn husk or broom corn, and it's great for textured surfaces like brick or concrete. And it's thought to be the original witch ride, which makes a great seasonal decor. Although when I think of seasonal decor, I think of that cinnamon broom that they have at Trader Joe's that comes around in the fall.
I haven't seen that. So
Really?
what? They have cinnamon in it? And so when
It
you sweep, you
smells
get the
like cinnamon.
cinnamon?
I don't know what it's
Oh,
made from, but it smells like cinnamon.
oh, how funny. Oh, that's awesome. So the next one is the rubber broom. And
Yeah.
this is Janice turned me on to the rubber broom ages ago. It is best for pet hair, hair salons, carpets, tiles, because those rubber bristles attract hair and dust. It's,
Well, they get
electrostatic or whatever.
exactly. That's why.
Yeah, and some models even have a squeegee edge, which is kind of nice because that'll work on both wet or dry. And if you're a pet owner, this is going to be one of your best friends.
Yep.
And I have a small one. I don't have a pet anymore, and we don't have that much carpet in our home, but I have a small one that I use, which energizes my microfibers to
Mhm.
do dusting. And so I'll use the rubber broom to rub the microfiber, and then it electromagnetic static it. And then my mitt will then pick up a lot more dust. So the rubber broom, oh my gosh, if you have pets, I tell you, you should see the piles that Janice has gotten off her stairs.
Yeah. When I had two dogs and a cat,
Right,
lots of pet hair that used to gather on the stairs. So the
right.
next broom is the soft bristle broom. And I don't know if I have any soft bristle brooms. These are best for delicate flooring, such as wood, tile, or laminate. They
Mhm.
capture the fine dust without scratching floors and are often used indoor for light debris. And if you pair it with a microfiber dustpan, you'll get the full barefoot clean effect. That's what
What
it
does that
says.
mean? What does that mean?
I don't
Pair
know.
with a microfiber dustpan? So
I've never heard
honestly,
of a microfiber. Well, maybe you wet the microfiber and you wipe it like you do.
well, and that's what I was thinking. I've heard of spritzing, you get down to the end because you always end up with that little line along your dustpan. So you just spritz it real quick and wipe it with a microfiber and it gets everything off the floor. So maybe that's what they meant.
I
Don't
don't
know.
know.
We use a soft bristle broom all the time. And again, when it's really fine stuff, the dustpan won't, it can't get over the hump into the dustpan. Um, so I do use a wet a wet spritz and either a paper towel if it's handy or usually microfiber. Right. And the next one, this is the hard bristle or stiff broom. It's best for small spills, cars, upholstery. Um, it's it has rigid bristles that are going to tackle heavy duty dirt, sand, gravel, things like that. That's why it's really good for um, outdoor use.
Yeah.
Garages, concrete, sidewalks, all that kind of stuff. So you can skip this indoors unless you want scratch marks and flying crumbs.
Yeah. Because
Hard
it's too
bristle, stiff
hard. It
brooms,
pushes
and
stuff too much.
yeah, yeah. So that is a hard bristle broom if and you need one for outside.
So the next one is a whisk broom or a mini hand broom. So, those are the little ones that usually have metal on the top and you can hang it someplace. They're best for small spills, cars, or upholstery. The handheld broom used with a dustpan, it works really well. You can actually, they have the little ones. They're not necessarily, well, I always think of a whisk broom as being natural fiber, but I have synthetic ones that we used to use in our in tents, and you'd have a dustpan attached to it so you could sweep up all the stuff that got on in the bottom of your tent so you didn't wake up and have stuff all over your face from
Oh,
what you
funny.
dragged in with on your socks because you took your shoes off outside and turned them upside down. But anyway,
Right.
But
Oh, how
they're good for like countertop messes or car mats, but like the little crumb brooms, you know how they have at these,
but the butler's helper,
yes, that's similar to that type of thing. So
right?
these are really good because they're usually small. So they're good to put in RVs or small apartments or wherever you have messy people making a lot of crumbs.
We actually, that's the dustpan, excuse me, that comes with our little whisk broom. It's hanging under the kitchen sink, and I use that dustpan all the time. So we sweep the kitchen, and then I use the smaller dustpan because with the whisk broom, ours is synthetic and it gets fine stuff. So
Speaking
I
of
do that.
dustpans, I actually think this was Pampered Chef. Used to they used to have fly swatters that had a tweezer on the end and a little dustpan, so you could, if you didn't want to pick it up, you could brush it with the end, put it in the dustbin and throw it away, or you could pick it up with a tweezer. I think it was Pampered Chef. They were not cheap
That's
when I first bought
hilarious.
them, and then you could buy them. Then after a while, you could pick them up at Daiso for pretty inexpensive.
Oh, how funny.
But that's
Oh my,
not the same type. We were talking about whisk brooms. Sorry, I got
yeah.
off. Made me think of something else.
Oh my gosh. So then we have the lobby broom, which is an upright broom.
Mhm.
It's best, it's really good for daily use in commercial spaces because your dust pan has a long handle and it's flat at the bottom, so you can
And it
just walk
stands up.
along and use it without having to bend over, and grab that stuff easily and get it moved out of the way. They're compact. It's a straight up broom,
I
and
had two. Yeah.
I I really like it. My daughter has one in her kitchen that works fabulously, so I thought I need one of those. So I ordered one and love the dustpan part, but the broom is crappy. It's just really bad quality. So I'm going to give it away in a free pile. And I'm going to give that away and get a new one because honestly, when I'm at my daughter's, there's dogs, there's kids, there's all that stuff. And so it's really handy for me not to have to bend over, but I can help clean up around the house. So definitely need a good lobby broom.
So the next two brooms I'm going to sort of clump together because we did a little bit of research on this because it was talking about an electric or motorized broom, and we were arguing whether that makes it a vacuum cleaner. But we found out that they are now called sweepers, floor sweepers. And, you know, they used to have, I think Fuller Brush used to have them.
Yeah, they
And
did.
the brushes rotate when you sweep
Right.
them back and forth, and it picks up the stuff. And I don't know where there must be a collection place
There
somewhere.
kind of is inside there kind of is. And so then you just go over and open it up and dump,
Right.
and it's pretty easy. And you see these a lot in restaurants
Yes.
where
Where
there's
they're,
especially where there's carpet.
yeah, because they don't
Yep.
want the noise of the
The
vacuum
vacuum.
part going.
Right.
So these are for
Yeah.
quick sweeps in modern homes or like we were saying, businesses that usually have low pile carpet or hardwood.
Hmm.
They're cordless and they act as a light vacuum, but they're not as powerful as vacuums. But they're
Right.
perfect for quick pickups and cleaning. So they're
Mhm.
also saying that it's a good idea for seniors or those with mobility issues. And the
Right.
next one is a magnetic broom. And the reason I wanted to include this with these sweepers is because they do have a magnetic sweeper. And these pick up metal shavings and like I think probably nails, small nails and staples and things like
Right.
that. And it uses magnets to pick up nails, screws, and metal debris, but it's enclosed, which makes more sense than having something that you're trying to do this with. Although
Right.
I have just used a really big magnet to pick up pins after sewing and stuff like that. But so this is
Right.
basically for do-it-yourselfers, mechanics, or after at-home reno cleanup, which makes that
Right.
all makes sense. So it would be something that maybe a construction company would use.
Exactly. So the next thing we have is a water broom. So it has a hose connected,
Mm.
and that's best for decks and patios and outdoor tiles. It connects to the hose and sprays water as you sweep. So with that dual action, it takes less
But
elbow
isn't
grease.
that what a power washer does?
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds to me like a water broom is a power washer.
Yeah. And
At
then
least that's our
the
belief.
last type of broom we have on here is called a ceiling broom or a cobweb duster. Or when I bought mine, it was called Webster, purple Webster thing. And it's basically for sealing corners and crown molding. It's attached to a long pole, and it either has a soft regular head or possibly a microfiber head, and it's designed to grab cobwebs and dust in high places. And the extendable versions help reach things without having to get out a ladder. So those
Right.
are so as we got further along the list, the brooms got much more specialized,
Right.
right?
Right. Absolutely. And for my ceiling broom, I use my broom and and I put a microfiber on top of it, and I can do that. Or I use my long-handled Swiffer. So Swiffers are more duster than broom, but I do use my Swiffer quite often in place of the broom when it comes to reaching things I used to do with my broom and microfiber. I can now do with a Swiffer.
And I also use my Norwex long duster because I can
Oh,
attach it onto my Norwex broom handle and extend it and reach things too. But when you have 20-foot ceilings, that's not going to help. So you got to have the really long extension. So, anyways.
I don't have 20-foot ceilings. I think my entire house is 20 feet tall. So here are some broom care tips. You want to shake out the bristles after every use. So you sweep, you do your thing before you hang your broom back up. Take it outside and shake it.
I don't. Do you do that? I'm sorry, I don't do that.
It depends on what the broom looks afterwards. Usually it's fine. They also say to hang your broom upside down. My broom hangs, but it's not up. I don't hang it upside down, but it
So you
doesn't
hang
touch
it
the
with the
floor.
head up?
I hang it with the head up because it has a carved handle, and I want to see the cool face that's carved on the handle.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know all of even so I have those clips that you can put
Oh,
things in. No, they all
yeah.
I want the dirty part on near towards the floor. I don't want it up towards the sea.
Right.
Sorry,
Right.
that's me. But I guess I understand because it will preserve its shape, but these
That's
are all
what they say.
polyester things.
But if it's hanging, it's not going to make a difference.
It's not gonna bend it. Well,
It's not
no,
going to
that's
bend it.
probably part of the reason why, because
Right.
if they're just leaned against the wall, they could bend the bristles, and then it would lessen the life of your broom.
Right. Right. So they also suggest that you wash synthetic bristles monthly. You want to avoid soaking natural fiber brooms, obviously, because that is not going to be good for the natural fibers. This is not a mop; it's a broom. And but washing synthetic bristles monthly, uh,
I don't do
mm,
that.
I don't do that either. We
I
may we may
if
do
it's
it
really
after
that
like a
bad, I
big mess.
just go buy a new one.
I know,
Terrible.
I know. Free pile, buy a new one. So
Use this
yeah,
outside, honey.
that's right. We'll put it behind the door of the next guest. Um, so then they say replace your broom when the bristles fray or get too soft to sweep effectively. So you can do that, or you can do what my husband did with one of our synthetic brooms, and he simply got out his razor and trimmed it down. He took off probably maybe an inch of it, and it works. It's been working for another what? We've been 2 years now. So
Wow.
yeah,
Well, it
yeah.
makes sense. That's what they used to do with natural fibers. That they would trim them.
They trim them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so we do suggest that.
So yeah, so that's our talk about brooms this month.
It is, and this one came from Better Homes and Gardens. The other one was from Enchanted Living magazine. So we invite you to, look those up. We have the links in our comments. And the other thing is, if you felt you got a lot out of this, please give us a rating and a review. We would love for that, because if you got a lot out of this, somebody else might. And I know we're talking algorithms here, but if you rate and review, then other people are going to be able to find it. And so we would love it if you would do that. And you need any help at any time, you reach out to us, and all of our contact links are in the comments. Have a great day and see you next time.